Jake, I'm excited to hear about your aunt. You had a conversation with your aunt this week, right?
No, but I did talk with Tia, which is Spanish for aunt. Yes, very good.
Oh, gotcha.
I had a great conversation this week with Tia Sokoya. She's a marketing guru here in Nashville. I'm super interested in marketing just in general, so it was a great conversation. I learned a lot from her. Specifically, we talked about how she differentiates marketing between brokerages or agents, kind of personal brand stuff, how she markets listings. She gave me a bunch of tips and tricks that she's used and just different lived experience that she's kind of had here in the Nashville market. I learned a ton, so I think you will too. It's cool.
Okay, so 615 is all about real estate, but this could be an interview to watch even if you're not into real estate, you're just into marketing. Because everyone's in marketing in some capacity.
Exactly, yeah. The interesting thing about her is we started talking about real estate, but she's done marketing for so many different big brands from all sorts of different walks of life. So it was cool to just see how she translates marketing advice into real estate. So it's not necessarily real estate specific, but it's great marketing advice. And then she also talks about how to use her marketing expertise specifically for real estate.
Okay, can't wait. Let's check it out.
Awesome.
All right, Real 615. I'm here with Tia Sokoya, and we are going to talk about all things marketing, real estate related. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome.
I've got the pleasure to be in real estate marketing and just continuing to work in agency. So it's been wonderful. Love marketing.
Awesome. Well, why don't you tell a little bit about your journey and how you kind of got into marketing in general and what kind of got you where you're at now?
Yeah, absolutely. I graduated from UGA. Go Dogs. I had to throw that in there. So sorry. But really loved getting to connect with people. I graduated with sociology and digital broadcast journalism. So like communicating to large groups of people, which is what marketing is. It's telling your story. So I love the storytelling aspect of it. And so came to Nashville, worked for a couple technology companies, and then got to work in real estate marketing. 2020 was probably one of the most exciting years in real estate. So a lot of on-the-job learning and seeing how to connect, sell houses, be proactive for your buyers. And so that was really exciting. And now I get to manage a bunch of marketing brands. So
awesome. Mm-hmm. So what are some of the kind of winning strategies that you've seen over the past couple of years that have worked for maybe agents or maybe for brokers?
Mm-hmm.
What sticks out to you?
Yeah, great question. And I think it depends on who you're trying to connect with. So say you're really trying to advocate for, maybe you need new clients. So how are you getting in front of the clients where they are? So depending on what generation you're in, maybe Instagram or TikTok is the best way for you on social media to promote yourself. Maybe if you're trying to cater to an older clientele, going to LinkedIn or, I'm trying to think where else older generations would hang out. Yeah, maybe Pinterest, honestly. And then Gen Z, maybe there's other types of like forums that you know that they are, but if that's who you're targeting, go after them. Like be on TikTok, be in the Facebook groups that they're in. But that's for going after clients. I think the number one thing to do is just continuing to build up your web presence, whether that be like organically through SEO. Social media is a great and free way to do that. I know that we all don't have a plethora of never ending money. So just being really smart. But I think the best thing to do is automate marketing. We talked that doing marketing really poorly is worse than not doing marketing at all. But like you can do this. Like I know it can be scary, whether it's jumping into social media, maybe building up your reviews on Zillow so that whenever you have a potential customer, you're able to build that trust without even talking to them. That's the goal with all of this marketing, is to build trust so that whenever you do have someone who's ready to buy or ready to sell their house, that's once every 7 years, you're the one that they want to talk to because they already trust you. Which is a tall order and hard to do, but when you do it well, it really helps your business.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned automation. So what are maybe a couple of automation tools that you like, or websites or?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are free resources. It really all depends on your budget. So some like free ideas, whether it's email marketing, if you have like frequently asked questions, go ahead and put that together in a booklet and offer that as a gated piece of content. So that you're able to collect emails and you're able to send a monthly newsletter, or if you have a listing that you think applies to most of your audience, then you can reach out and send that to them. So I would say any sort of gated piece of content that you can create. And then also email. Email's free. A great way to let people know what you're doing, maybe something exciting that's going on in the industry, because what you provide is your value and your knowledge. So giving that away for free, like even in small pieces or parts, is a great way for you to attract potential clients because they need your knowledge. You're the one doing this. You're the expert. Go ahead and give analysis on things. If you see a great article about the market, write that out and then post that on your LinkedIn, on your social media, because people want to know your thoughts on things. You're the thought leader, whether you agree, disagree, maybe you have a couple of additional facts to add to like a news report. People want to hear that. So I know social media can be really daunting and it feels like you're just speaking into a void. But even if you get 30 likes on a video, that's 30 people that you're talking to that you haven't gotten to be in touch with in person. So it still adds value. I know we all want thousands of videos like to go viral, but even if you're just connecting with 30 people on Instagram or Facebook, pick one and do it really, really well. Like let people know what you're doing. Let people know how active you are. And because I know that budgets can be really tight, but making sure that you're taking advantage of these free like marketing tools. And so if you do want to automate, I'm trying to think of there's a lot you can do inside Google. So maybe you can schedule emails, also setting up some sort of funnel. So whenever someone's like sending you a contact form, have an automatic email sent that highlights all of your reviews, that highlights your listings, maybe some of other places that you've given opinions. Having that set up and automated is the best way for you to multiply your time. Because I know that y'all are in the car a lot. You're picking up phones, you're making deals, you're advocating for your clients. So having that automated in the background is just going to like benefit you in the long run.
Awesome. So what are some free avenues that you recommend for agents?
Yeah, I think it really depends on who you're trying to go after. So, and what you're most comfortable with. So let's focus on social media marketing for a second. You have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, which is more video heavy. See which one you're most comfortable with and start doing that, like posting videos, frequently asked questions. You can Google great real estate articles or like great real estate posts and see what other people are doing. And you can create that for your audience.
So kind of imitate somebody who's already a thought leader in the space.
Yeah, if you're struggling for inspiration, I think the hardest thing is putting yourself out there and getting started. That's a great way. Or what are your buyers asking you? What are your sellers asking you? What is the biggest mistake that you see people making? Stuff like that. It seems really innate to you since you work in it every day, but your potential customers, they don't know that. They don't know the pitfalls. That's why they need you as their guide to walk them through it.
Interesting. Okay. And so you mentioned pitfalls. What are some of the pitfalls that you see some agents or some ruts that you see them falling into on social media? Mm-hmm. What are some losing strategies, I guess, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think not adding value. So whenever you're posting an article, let people know that you also have thoughts about it, whether you agree with the person, whether you disagree, maybe something specific to your market. Nashville is very different than, say, Colorado or California. So go ahead and give that local expert so that people trust you whenever they're like, man, I really want to move to Germantown. I need to reach out to Jake or whoever you are. So I think that's something that people miss is they're like, well, I'm posting and no one's interacting. It's like, well, how did you provide value to your potential customers or your friends on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you're posting?
So almost like finding your own kind of micro niche inside this big market and then doubling down on that, whether it's Germantown or another area.
Yeah, you can be like the Germantown expert. You can also be the Nashville expert. If you see that you're working with a lot of relocations, you can be the relocation expert. So you don't even have to like pigeonhole yourself, but you can just say like, I'm a Nashville expert. I've lived here for 13 years. I'm going to be able to walk you through this process, no matter how scary it is. No problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. So on the agent side, would you suggest, or what seems better to you, focusing on kind of more personal life stuff like agent branding as a person, or do you see that focusing more on like real estate specific branding works better?
Yeah, I think be true to yourself. People are really sensitive to inauthentic brands. And so what I've seen personally is people nowadays are really interested in authenticity. They can kind of smell fake from a mile away. Yeah. So I would let people, you're a real person. Your job is just one facet of who you are. So you're not wanting to spam people and post 6 times a day, but let them know, if you're out with your family, if you're out and about in town, if they're really fun, if you're going to like a festival or something like that, like local to Nashville. These are things that people want to see. And it's a great conversation starter because, you can post your 2 kids and someone's like, oh, I have 2 kids and we actually have a 3rd on the way. And you're like, oh my gosh, like that's when people are selling. Like, are you thinking about moving? It's a way for you to connect with people. And that's what real estate, in my opinion, part of real estate is connecting with people.
Absolutely. So be your authentic self and then find a way to bridge that gap into real estate.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Because it's part of who you are. Like, you have kids, you have hobbies. If you're going to a Titans game, and maybe it's kind of aspirational of someone being like, oh, like I want to live in Nashville. I really want to go to a Titans game. Or, you're going to a really fun concert. Like, wow, Jake's a cool guy. He's kind of like me. I can see myself working with him.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So let's focus on the listing side. So say I'm an agent that has a listing.
Mm-hmm.
What are some tips that you would use to specifically market that listing?
Yeah. I know that the market has changed. And so being cognizant and upfront with your clients. So, hey, we used to be able to put it immediately on the market and it would go above asking, really quickly. That the market is what tells us what your house is worth. So I would go ahead and set expectations up front, which agents are great at, but just a reminder. And so having really great photos, I'm sure that y'all know this, but we want potential buyers to be able to see themselves in these homes. So get rid of any clutter. Like it's putting your best foot forward on your best day. So go ahead and get that house. Professional photos, super important because whenever someone's going through HomeSnap, Zillow, Redfin, or like, this is their first impression. So you want them to want to see this house in person. And then for wanting this to go viral, I would really encourage the seller. I know that some sellers aren't as comfortable on social media, but them also being a megaphone, get the home. If you have like a web page that you build for each home, go ahead and get that out there. Tell the clients to share that. See if other agents want to share it on their social media so that they can get buyers for it. Just making sure that the word is out there that your home is available. I think open houses are super beneficial. You want to point people to that open house, but you can't bank on it anymore. You have to be proactive instead of reactive.
It's true. Be proactive instead of reactive is really good. So let's talk about video for a second. Do you see a lot of value in having video tours of homes? Is there a specific type of home that needs a video, drones, things like that? Is that worth spending extra money on a listing? How do you feel?
Yeah, I think drone is super beneficial whenever it's a lot of land and you're trying to highlight maybe the acreage, the beauty around the home. I think video tours like Matterport is super helpful if it's a confusing layout or someone wouldn't get a good feel for the home just through the photos. So I think that if there is each house is so different, if there's a specific need that you see as the agent, that, hey, it really would be beneficial to highlight that this has 3 stories, the basement's huge. Like, I do think that Matterport would be really helpful, advocate for that in your listing. You don't need drone. I mean, maybe in Nashville, if you're trying to highlight how close it is to downtown, but besides that, locals can tell, based on, okay, this is 10 minutes from downtown. That's really maybe 30 with traffic. So it really depends on your listing. But I think video is a great way to connect with people, especially interested buyers that maybe can't see the home in person right away.
And in a video, so say I've got a listing, in a video for your listing, do you recommend that agents kind of put their personality into that video, or should a video be more about the house specifically, or both?
Yeah, I think there's no harm in, hey, I'm Tia with Scout Realty. Welcome to my listing. You want to be personable, but it's not about you. It's about the home. So I have seen agents get creative with maybe like sitting and lounging, maybe in the corner on the sofa, like highlighting how comfortable like your life could be at this house. Or maybe sitting on the patio with like the sunset, maybe with like a margarita at hand, being like, man, life is good if I'm in this house. You can, if that's true to your brand, but the most important thing is showcasing the features of the home. So make sure that nothing you do takes away from that.
That's great advice.
This episode is brought to you by Brit Skin Beauty. Located in the beautiful Indulgence Medi Spa in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Brittany is the go-to esthetician for facials, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, waxing, lashes, and any skincare products and consultations. So many people in the music industry use her frequently, and her work speaks for itself. To schedule your next consultation or make an appointment, visit britskinbeauty.com or send an email to britskinbeauty@gmail.com.
So let's switch over to the buyer side real quick. So top of your head, what are a couple strategies that you think would win for someone to attract buyers?
Yeah, I think people are really scared to maybe take that jump from renting to buying. So I think bridging any myths and then going where potential buyers would be. So people that have just moved to Nashville, join those groups, go to those events, and make sure that people know that, I'm a real estate agent. I can be the person to show you around the city. If there are businesses that have a lot of people moving in, like connect with Amazon, connect with Oracle, just offering your expertise. If you just want me to do a lunch and learn, I'm happy to do that because people already see you as a thought leader. And then it's just all you need is a foot in the door. And then be yourself. You're able to work with new clients. So just get creative.
So it seems like the main kind of overarching point is to do whatever you feel comfortable with to get the conversation started. Okay.
Yeah. And if you do have a listing, I know that working open houses sometimes on the weekend is not super fun, but lots of unrepresented buyers walk in. And the hard thing is it's not going to be every time. You might go a month without an unrep buyer walking into your location, but all you need is one. And that's where, one can become many. So sure. It is trying a bunch of, there's no silver bullet. I wish that there was a silver bullet that I could tell you, but it's just making yourself available, being where potential new clients are, and taking that risk and putting yourself out there. If you are meeting for coffee, do you have any friends that had questions about buying? Feel free to give them my number. Here's my card. Just making people know that you are willing to take the time to sit with them. It's not going to turn into a buyer every time, but once they are buying, they'll look to you as the expert.
Makes sense. Let's flip to a paid advertising strategy here. So do you have any favorites between Facebook, Google, Pinterest? Where, if you had a budget to spend as a realtor, where would you put your money?
So with real estate, I just want to make this caveat. Real estate is one of those restricted. There are a couple of rules that you have to follow because you can't discriminate. So there are limited targeting features that you can use. So speaking specifically to Facebook and Instagram, it's the cheapest option, but you will get the most junk. And whenever you reach out to people, somehow, I don't know how this happens, but people don't realize how they filled out their form because, Facebook will autofill their email and they'll click, yes, I want to see this. So you might call them, they say, I never gave you my email. And it's like, you actually did, Susan. But okay, I see you're not interested. So for Facebook and Instagram, a budget of $500 would be plenty for the month, but just be aware you might get a lot of junk. So I would even showcase my free guides and try and connect with people that way as opposed to a listing or something like that for Facebook or Instagram.
So spend your money kind of promoting your gated content.
Yeah. I think that would be a much better strategy as opposed to people that are wanting to see the house and may not be aware that they clicked on an ad.
Makes sense.
And then PPC, it's hard because, I know that things are moving a little bit slower. So I would say it's more expensive. You can spend, it depends on your area and what keywords you're going after. But you can spend $1,000 on Google easy. And right now, PPC, since after COVID, it has been a lot more expensive because everyone had to go online for marketing as opposed to be able to doing stuff in person. So I'll be honest with you, it might not be the best way to promote listings or your business. I would try gated content first and see if you can pick up interested buyers or sellers that way. But PPC is your most expensive option with less long-term value. So I would recommend working on your SEO for your website because that has long tail effects as opposed to PPC, which is a faucet, the most expensive way, but you turn it off and turn it back on and you don't have any value, after you turn it off.
Sure. So the goal with your PPC is kind of to build your mailing list as opposed to actually sell your listing.
Yeah.
You want to build your own specific list of people that you can market to them directly for free as opposed to, that makes sense.
Yes. And if you have money to burn and you need leads now, PPC definitely provides value for that. But it's going to be your most expensive option with no long-term value.
Gotcha. Cool. What is one of the best ads that you've seen recently? Doesn't have to even be real estate related.
Best ads. Oh my gosh, this is such a good question. I feel like I can nerd out on marketing.
Awesome.
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to think. Real estate specific. There's a group that they were the first to pop up on Google whenever I Googled Birmingham real estate. And so that means that they had great SEO. They're optimizing their website. They have different backlinks and everything pointing to them. And so then whenever I got on their website, they made it super easy for me to search up-to-date homes. I saved a couple, created a login. And then after that, I saved maybe 10 homes. They've been emailing me updates on those homes. So what I see is they have their marketing together. They're focusing on their local SEO, which has long-term effects. And then they also have some sort of funnel that they drop me in, that even if I'm not interacting with them, it's every week, every 2 weeks, they have an email that's coming to me that's personalized. Hey, Tia, we saw you were looking at this house. Would be happy to give you a tour. Let me know if you have any questions. Not pushy, but just providing value. And then I've received calls from them as well. So, it's nothing pushy, but it does show me that they have a really great marketing setup that's automated in the background. So while they're, running deals, they are connecting with hopefully new leads at the top of the funnel.
Keep themselves top of mind with you.
Yeah, which is they're who I would use if I went to Birmingham, because they understand marketing. They would be able to help me as a buyer in this market.
Yeah, it's awesome. How many social platforms do you think an agent should be on?
It depends on how much time you have. I would much rather you do one really well than do 4 and just feel like a propaganda machine.
Sure.
People don't want to be sold to. They want your personality. They want value. So feel free to share different deals or, whatever it is. But I would much rather you be really great on Instagram, maybe showing your life, but then showing what it looks like as a day in the life of a realtor, you showing houses, you sending emails, you on calls all day. Because those are the things wow, this person's really active. They know what's going on in the market. I have no idea. I need to call them. So if you can do 4 really well, do 4. But if you don't have the time, pick 1 and just make sure that you are interacting with people, because people don't want you just shouting into the void. Interact with potential buyers, maybe repost other influencers in the space. Oh my gosh, Cindy said this really great thing about real estate in Nashville. This is what I want to add to it. So then you're interacting with other influencers in the space. She might repost. You're then able to interact with her audience, but that's only possible if you take the time to do it really well.
So essentially find content that's winning already and then add your own spin to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Add your own commentary.
Yeah. Just be part of the conversation. It's a conversation, not a megaphone. And that's really important.
That's a great way to look at it. Okay. Well, standard marketing budget is my next question. Mm-hmm. So you kind of mentioned $500 a month being a ballpark to start at. Is that how you feel about Facebook specifically? Does that change between platforms? And a follow-up question to that is, if your budget is $500 a month, where would you spend it? All Facebook or?
I probably wouldn't spend it on Facebook and Instagram right now. So, say I got $500 a month total. That could be mailings. That could be setting up my email marketing. That could be creating a branded ebook. Okay, if I had $500, where would I spend it? Who am I? Let's figure it out. I think I would want to make sure that my website is good to go, that it has a great user experience, and that I'm okay driving people to it. And then after that, I would want some sort of free giveaway that adds value to potential buyers or sellers. So once I have that, then I would be pushing that. Maybe I would test out Instagram and Facebook and let the data tell me what's going on. LinkedIn's more expensive than Instagram and Facebook typically. So maybe that, but then you're only able to get maybe 1 or 2 clicks a day. And I would see what can happen in Google, because I do find value if I want leads quickly. But I also think that giving gifts to your maybe referral partners is another great way to continue earning their trust, because this is a people business. So you can try the cold reach outs, but I do think you're going to find a lot more value taking that $500, maybe getting everyone Christmas gifts, being like, hey, if you have family that's wanting to move here in 2023, if you have a coworker that's maybe moving here, I think spending that time and connecting people, a person with a person, is gonna really pay dividends in the long run, as opposed to having to start from scratch doing these cold reach outs.
That's good advice. I think spending in the actual physical world as opposed to the digital world does make a lot of sense. Makes more of an impact too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've already built trust with people. And that's where people they want to work with people that they trust and like, and know, because they have to know you first. So I think spending the time in that like physical sense, maybe it's buying, there's a lunch and learn, you buy everyone lunch and you're giving a presentation. It's not going to work every time, but at least you're already a foot in the door. And that's the hardest part. Whereas whenever you're starting with a cold reach out, you're at the top of the funnel, as opposed to, if you're already in person, you're a little bit farther down. You've already met them, trust, you're able to get their business cards. It's much more personable.
Okay. Top 3 keywords or hashtags you would go for?
Okay, let's think. This is some you asked for free tools. SEMrush is a great free tool.
SEMrush?
SEMrush, SEMrush.
Okay.
They have a free version and a paid version, but you can do keyword research. It would be specific to each person's region, but what you can do is Google real estate in Nashville, real estate agent in Nashville, selling in Nashville, buying in like try Glencliff, Creek Hall, buying in Germantown, and it will show you the traffic and the keyword difficulty. So traffic would be how many people are looking up that keyword, and then keyword difficulty, how hard is it to rank for this keyword? Okay. So anything above 80 is really hard, but say you find a couple keywords that they have 200 people visiting that keyword or typing in that keyword each month, and the difficulty is below 50 or below 80, that's a great keyword for you you asked about like positioning yourself in the market. That's a great untapped way to find new buyers and people that are searching those keywords. Whenever your content is starting to use it, if you're writing blogs, basically blogs are a great way to expand your surface area. So create content around those keywords based on that keyword research.
So essentially you're saying find the keyword first and then create the content.
Yeah, because it helps. Then you're creating content that's SEO optimized, not you guessing.
Gotcha. Makes a lot of sense. I feel like a lot of people work that completely backwards, because I think intuition kind of tells you like, oh, I need to create something great and then people will find it. But you're saying find what people are looking for first, go where the buyers are, go where the client is, and then start there.
I'm sure your intuition's pretty spot on, but this is a great way. Instead of saying like, are you looking in South Nashville? Maybe people are saying South Nashville, maybe they're saying Glencliff, maybe they're saying near the soccer stadium. You don't know until you're able to see the specifics. So it just gives you a leg up on other content that isn't going to be as optimized for those keywords.
Awesome. So have you done any marketing for, you mentioned working for a broker. Is there any advice you have specifically for brokerage as opposed to an agent, a different path they should take, or how do you feel about that?
I think for brokerages, you want to stay part of the conversation. I think focusing on your SEO, so making sure that your website is really searchable. And the hard thing is you do have these Goliaths in the real estate space. You have Redfin, you have Zillow, but you want to be, whenever someone Googles real estate agent in Nashville, you want to be a contender popping up. So if you are a broker, you want to make sure that you're marketing your brokerage and that you're not just relying on listings, that you are getting your brand out there, that you have a great brand identity, but that you're putting yourself on the internet for like in positions to win.
Awesome. Well, I guess this has been a great conversation. Do you have any parting words or any final piece of advice for anybody for any agents out there or brokers? What's your marketing mantra that you want to leave everyone with?
Okay, great question. Yeah, if you take nothing else from this conversation, the scariest part is to try. Like the first step is always the hardest. So get on the web. That's where a lot of people are finding their real estate agents. So start producing content, whatever avenue you feel most comfortable, but just go ahead and start putting yourself out there. Keep doing research, keep doing keyword research, and you're going to find it along the way. So I want you to feel hopeful.
Dive in.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kia. It's been great. And thank you for watching Real 615. Thanks to our sponsors, Scout Realty and Mission of Truth, and Miss Tia. We'll see you soon. Bye.